Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Mr. Mohammed Sabrien, the managing editor at Al Ahram newspaper. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. We would like to focus on the main priorities for the foreign policy of Egypt under President Sisi for the past decade and for the upcoming presidential term as well.
You know, let me first, try to draw, some kind of what is, make, the foreign policy of our president is a little bit more different and unique. We have to state and appreciate that, our president managed what they call it, the strategic patient. And this kind of policy actually did succeed, to turn around some of our, rivals, some countries and
Yes.
some leaders, to go around and with patient of our president and under the Egyptian administration under President Sisi. And the most successful one is how he did manage the relation with Turkey, from having some kind of rivalry to have a strategic partnership, and now it's a very cozy relation. And recently our armed forces did a joint military exercise with the Turkish army. So this is a huge thing. The second important and the second most important things, what you mentioned
Yes.
At the introduction, which is the strategic balance.
Yes.
Egypt, this is one of a big tradition, that Egypt don't get involved with one camp against the other or whatsoever. So the most important example right now is how Egypt do manage its relationship with China and United States. We do have a very good relation with China, and this relation quite recently, for the first time, our armed forces and the Chinese, air forces did have a joint exercise. And this was noticed by a lot of Western observers, and with a lot of analysis and so on. And, I felt, very glad that, when they touched it, they said that, Egypt, did manage to send the message to the two capitals that, that Egypt want to be friend to everyone.
Yes.
And not to be in a camp with one against the other. So this is a very important, and our relationship with China is deepening and evolving, a lot. So the other one, or the most important things, is that Egypt under Sisi did manage to build a confidence, that Egypt is a trusted partner. And in this regard, our relationship with European Union are very good. A lot of European leaders appreciate the role of Egypt.
Yes.
And by diplomacy, by trust, by the frankness, and the dedication, of the Egyptian administration, we did manage, to achieve a lot of things.
Yes, Mr. Mohammed, you've mentioned that Egypt was never in one camp against the other. And we have seen what happened in the Gaza Strip in Palestine over the past 15 or 16 months in terms of the genocide war committed by the occupation forces against the Palestinians, against the Gazans more specific. How did you see the role of Egypt in mediating a ceasefire alongside Qatar and the United States for the Gaza Strip?
Again, as we mentioned, our role is very important, and again, in this regard, I think all of us remembering, the meeting between President Donald Trump and the King of Jordan at the White House, and
yes,
when he spoke to, President Trump to the King regarding, the Gaza and evacuating, the people from Gaza, he did mention that, that Egypt do have a plan, a very practical plan. And from this time on, I think the Egyptian position never changed. And the Egyptian vision actually is the one which is dominating the debate, and this is also a very good success. That Egypt do have principle in its foreign policy.
Yes.
And in its foreign policy, it reflects its commitment to the stability and to the interests of its own, the Arab people, and also to the Egyptian people.
Mm-hmm.
So from the very beginning, Egypt is against, the evacuation, and against, this genocide and aggression from the Israelis, and nobody actually, by the end of the day, I think the majority of the international community do agree with Egypt regarding that the only solution is to stop this madness and to establish the Palestinian state.
Yes, on the other hand, yesterday we have seen the activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi focusing on Africa and the Arab world. I would like to focus on Africa because yesterday President al-Sisi received the President of the Comoros United Islands, or the United Republic, Othman Ghazali or Azali Osman, yesterday, and we have seen as well President al-Sisi receiving an invitation to be participating in the upcoming Arab Summit in Baghdad in May through the Foreign Minister of Iraq, Fuad Hussein. And before that, we have seen the reception of presidents from Angola and Gabon, and the participation of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli in the presidential ceremony for the President of Gabon in Libreville. How do you see this momentum in the African scene for the strengthening of bilateral ties between Egypt and Africa?
I think it is very important to notice that a lot of Egyptian elites were demanding a lot that that Egypt must give a huge attention regarding Africa.
Yes.
We are part of Africa. We are competing in everything through the African competitions, and by the choice of the majority of African countries, they consider Egypt as one of the leaders of the global South.
Yes.
So again, what our current administration did a lot of emphasis regarding the African dimension of our foreign policy, and we do have a huge respect and a huge demand regarding the Egyptian products, and also the Egyptian capabilities to build, and to help our brother and sister in Africa. So our relationship is very important. And this is also another big improvement. And we have to remember that the first visit to our current foreign minister was to Africa.
Yes.
So in this regard, this is a very good. Africa is a huge potential. Africa is connecting very deeply to our national security, interests and so on. On the other hand, regarding the Arab Summit and Iraq, again, you will have this triangle: Iraq and Jordan and Egypt. Egypt did manage, to have a very good relation with a new Iraq, and we start to see, the warmth in this relation and the trust. And one of our biggest, construction company actually is right now in the final stages to build a new big city south of Baghdad. And it is almost 17 billion US dollar, and another company are going to build a wind station in Iraq. So and also in the pipeline, the Iraqi send to Egyptian industrial organization asking to have some goods, Egyptian goods, medicine and other things, and roughly it is 12 billion US dollar.
Yes, Mr. Mohammed Sabrien, the managing editor at Al Ahram newspaper. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate. And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you next week.